Hey everyone, Pratiti Pathak here. Welcome to Unpacking Brain Drama, where we talk about real life experiences, the challenges, and the obstacles. Sometimes we use them to block ourselves, sometimes we use them to grow and evolve. Here's what I want to say: obstacles are not the things blocking our path, obstacles are the path. So, in other words, we have to grow through what we go through. So, join me as we have some amazing conversations with some amazing guests. So this is the month of pinks and reds and deep purples, magentas, it's flowers, it's hearts, it's all things pretty and love. And so what do I want to talk about today? I want to talk about the love being in the air, or is it? It all starts from what? Relationships. So I want to talk about relationships. I want to talk about love and lovability. So let's just start with the basic, right? It starts all with the relationship, right? And how do we determine a relationship? What is involved in a relationship? Well, when I think about this, our relationship with each other, like how is it determined, right? You meet someone, or maybe they're in your family, so you're born with them, but you meet somebody and then you make a decision, you have a judgment, you have a thought about them, right? And then they have thoughts about you. So really, it's your thoughts about them and their thoughts about you that are actually in the relationship together, which I thought was very interesting the first time I heard this. It's not what we think. It's not like we each other are just in the relationship, but it's really our thinking about each other that is in this relationship. And there are so many different types of relationships, right? We have our family members, and that consists of maybe mom and dad, siblings, our children. But before we even go there, let's just go to like extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, all of these different relationships and all of these different thoughts about all of these different people. Right. And then we have our friend circle, the people that we work with, the people that are, neighboring us, if you will, our relationship with our intimate partners, our children. They're all very different relationships, right? We say like, there are so many different relationships that we have, and each one of them is going to create different feelings for us. So when I think about once we're in a relationship with somebody and we determine how we feel about them, we tend to think that that is what creates this, determines this love factor for us, right? We say that love comes in many different shapes and forms, right? We have different types of love because we have different types of relationships. So today I want to talk a little bit about love. And when I think about love, even though we say there's so many different types of loves, there's different forms of love, I really think that it's just a different, level of love for somebody. But I want to share a concept of just two different types of love, right? There's love with conditions and love without conditions. So it's conditional love and unconditional love. Let's just take a look at those two and see what is really the difference between them, right? So when I think about conditional love, what we're basically saying is, I will only love you or give you my love if under these conditions, if you treat me nice, or if you do the right thing, or if you say the right thing, if you give me compliments, or if you take out the trash or buy me flowers, right? We put these conditions like, I love you if you get good grades. I love you if you, pick up groceries for me, or if you do these certain things. And the minute you don't do them, for some reason, I don't feel that love for you. So that is conditional love. And basically what you're saying when you are putting that type of condition or cap on your love is that you will only love Like, I will only love you if you do what I want you to do, if you say what I want you to say or what I think is appropriate or nice, if you think the way that I want you to think, or if you act the way that is approving of and worthy of me giving you love. And I want to share, like, the only message that you are sending is that I am only willing to give you love under these circumstances or under certain conditions. And that is almost the opposite of really truly what it really means to love, right? So if we have to put conditions, and I'm not saying we don't want to have boundaries, but that's a little bit different. What I'm saying is, let's look at what would be the opposite of putting those types of conditions on our love, right? The opposite would be the unconditional love. And what does it really mean? And sometimes it's referred to as compassionately loving or agape love. It's basically your ability to give love freely without conditions, right? Without saying that, you'll only love for these other reasons. So it's allowing yourself to love somebody no matter what they say, no matter what they do, no matter what they think or how they act. And that doesn't mean that we have to be in that situation. I'm going to get to that a little bit later, but having the ability to love somebody without conditions is loving them regardless of what they do, say, act, think, or anything, right? This means that you are doing it. And this is really important for you to remember. When you unconditionally love, you are doing that for your sake only for your sake, right? Because the only person that actually gets to feel love is you. Let me explain. How does this really work, right? So let's talk about this. When you love somebody, or when I had to roll up my sleeves for this, because I'm going to get into the thick of it. When you love somebody, it's your thoughts, just like the relationship. It is your thoughts about that other person. So when you say, let me give you the example, I'll say it. So if I were to say to you, I love you, right? I say that so freely to the people in my life. I say that to my family members. I said that always to my son, my intimate partners. I say that to my clients, my friends. I say, I love you, and I genuinely mean it. But when I say I love you, it's not like anybody other than me gets to feel that love, right? It's only me that gets to feel that love, because it is my thought that is creating that emotion of love for me. So it's not you. You don't get to feel it. So when I say I love you, it is not like the love that I feel jumps out of my body and into yours, right? The only way that you get to feel the love is when you have a thought that sounds maybe like, oh, she loves me, or I love you too. That is what's creating the love for you, not me loving you, but your loving thoughts is what's creating the love for you. Are you guys with me? So let's just talk about this for a minute. When I have loving thoughts, it creates love for me. When you have loving thoughts, it creates loving thoughts for you. That is how I've talked about this in other episodes, is what somebody else does or says or how they act or behave is not what creates your emotions. The only thing that ever creates your emotions is your own thinking. It is your own consciousness, your own thoughts about something that creates an emotion for you. So instead, so many of us will deny ourselves that feeling of love by withholding our love for the other person, because somehow we think that that will cause them pain, or that will cause them to act differently or do something different, because in a way we're just like trying to punish them, right? So what we're really doing though is denying ourselves from feeling love, which is something that only we can give to ourselves. So it's almost like, here's an example. It says, if you did something that I wasn't happy with, I wasn't approving of, I didn't think was appropriate or the right thing to do, that was my condition, right? So therefore, now I'm going to withhold my love from you. So it's almost like this. And I'm going to use kind of like a little bit of a minor example, so it's not too crazy and too over the top, but it's almost like me pricking myself or stabbing myself with a sharp object and expecting you to bleed. Does that make sense? So let me repeat that. When you withhold your love from somebody else in the form of punishing them, right? You give them a cold shoulder. You're like, I didn't like what you did, so therefore I'm going to be mad about it. And it's almost like stabbing myself, right? And expecting you to feel the pain, which is just not how it works, right? That's just not how it works. I can't feel terrible or think terrible thoughts and you actually get to feel the pain. So let me give you an example. Let's just say, we'll use a very live and real and deep example. I am a mother. I lost my child. I'm still in a relationship with him because I still have my own thoughts about him, right? My son, Devin, I get to continue feeling all of this love for him and all of this gratitude around being his mother and him being my son because of the thoughts that I continuously have about him. I have loving thoughts about him. I have thoughts of gratitude for him and our relationship. And there are times that I have sad thoughts about him. I have thoughts of missing him and longing for him and wanting him. And that creates a feeling of sadness. So that's how it works. Ready? Positive thinking creates positive emotions. So when I have loving thoughts, it creates loving emotions. It creates feelings of gratitude and love and happiness and joy and bliss. When I have negative thoughts, it creates negative emotion and it creates sadness and depression and what do they call it? Humdrum, gloomy thoughts, right? Gloomy feelings. So it creates disappointment, right? When we think that somebody didn't do what we wanted them to do and we're using that as a way to conditionally love them, then it creates our own disappointment because what we're thinking is you didn't do what I wanted you to do. And now I'm disappointed in you. So I'm the one who gets to feel the disappointment. Are you guys getting this? So the last thing that I want to talk about here is lovability, right? It kind of goes all along with this. So when I think about our lovability, I was like, let me, out of curiosity, as you guys know, of course, I asked Google and I said, what is the definition of lovability? And it gave like different versions of basically the state or condition of being lovable. And I have to say, I just want to say I disagree with this definition. I really think that we are 100% lovable. That's number one. Okay. Lovability is not somebody else's condition of loving, like it's not the state or condition. It's not my state or my condition of being lovable to somebody else. And what I mean by that is we are 100% lovable. Okay. You being lovable is absolute, right? You are born 100% lovable, and there is nothing that you need to do more to be lovable. Your lovability is not about you. Your lovability is about the other person's ability or capability of love, their capacity to love you. Now, with that being said, just like we talked about all the way back, right? There's different types of love, there's different types of relationships. There's also, with each person, we all have a different capacity for love, right? Some of us might have grown up thinking that our parents didn't love us, not me. So don't, if my mom and dad are listening to this right now, I feel 100% loved by you guys. Don't think it's me. But there are times that we think that somebody didn't love us, and therefore we made it mean that we weren't lovable. And that is absolutely 100% false, not true. It's their capacity to love. Some people have much greater capacity to love. I think I have a huge capacity of love. And I know for sure that I have said this many times in the past about different relationships. Usually it was mostly within an intimate relationship, but it applies to all, right? And I used to say all the time that I am sure that person loves me as much as they are capable of loving anyone or anything. And what that meant was they are loving me to their full capacity, but it may not be what I'm looking for. Our definitions of love might be different, or our ability to love might be different. So I just want to take this back for a moment, because I literally heard Les Brown. He was on Oprah Winfrey's show, and don't quote me on exactly what they were talking about, but what Les Brown said blew my mind. So Oprah was talking about her relationship with her mother, and I don't remember what exactly, because I kind of caught the middle of it, but what I did catch was the most important part of it. And Les Brown said something to the effect of, some people are 5-gallon people, 5-gallon people. And some people are only 5-ounce people. And then the most powerful sentence, he said, we can't expect a 5-ounce person to fill up 5 gallons. And that literally blew my mind. It was a different way of saying that, but it was so much more of a visual way of saying that, that made so much more sense to me, saying, I'm sure that person loves me as much as they're capable of loving. What does that really mean? But when you took the visual of 5 gallons and then taking 5 ounces, of course, that just doesn't compare, right? If I have 5 gallons of love to give, and that's my capacity, and that's how I measure love and the ability to love something, then when somebody's only giving you 5 ounces, that's all they've got. But that may not work for you, because you're left feeling empty because you've got 5 gallons to fill. I hope that makes sense for you guys. If it doesn't, or if you want more clarity on this, for sure, reach out to me. But it blew my mind, because I literally had always said that in the past, is that they're loving me as much as they're capable of loving. And that's really what it meant. So here's the breakdown. People in our lives, throughout our life, that we come across, that come in and out of our life, we have a relationship with them, right? Some of them are brief encounters, and some of them are lifetime encounters, right? So the brief encounters might be people that we work with, our neighbors, friends that were maybe friends like in 2nd grade, but not in 5th grade, friends that, you know, were friends in our 20s, but not our 40s or 50s. So people will come and go out of our lives, right? And then sometimes these relationships are long-term, right? Maybe we're, you know, married forever, right? Maybe we're married to a few different people for, you know, different decades or whatever, but family, you know, most of our family are like lifetime relationships. Sometimes people cut off family members and things like that for different reasons, but there's a saying that I've heard, and I've been hearing it a lot lately, is that people enter our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And it makes sense, right? Sometimes a relationship is amazing and beautiful and loving and wonderful, and then it ends. It doesn't mean that it has to end in some mean and ugly way. I was married once. I used to be a wife. I'm not anymore. We divorced, but we didn't do it in some mean, ugly way. We just ended our relationship in that way, right? We completed that relationship on that level. We're still friends. We still call each other and wish each other well, but we are not in the same form of that relationship anymore. So we get to decide our level of lovability, meaning our level of our ability, our capability to love someone. And with the unconditional and conditional love, we also get to allow them to love us in the way that they are able to, in their capacity. So the best thing that I could say is, or the most important thing I want you to take away from this is, we're always going to have relationships, create new relationships, end relationships. We're going to have a certain amount of love for that person. And the more that we are learning and allowing ourselves to love people and other things, experiences, moments in our lives, opportunities to love them, all of it, without putting conditions on it, the happier and the more love we will get to feel in our own heart. And I want us to take away from those experiences through learning, which is the only way that we can grow and evolve, and use those experiences to give that to us. And we can't get it if we're not paying attention to what we're thinking. If we're feeling crappy about something, maybe you want to ask a few powerful questions to yourself. It's like, what's making me feel crappy? What am I thinking about? What am I making this mean? Why am I thinking that they don't care because they did this? Could there be a different reason? Right? And I think that especially us as women, we tend to make things mean a little bit bigger than they actually mean, because we're not asking the right questions and being a little more curious about it. So there just has to be that time, and maybe it's a pause, right? Maybe it's just a pause that you give yourself before coming to any conclusions or judgments. So love each other unconditionally, allow yourself to be loved, and don't judge how that goes. Enjoy your relationships when you have them, because you don't ever know how long you will get to continue having them. And I say get to, because that's what we get to do. And right before I wrap it up, I want to offer you guys, I just was recommended a book. It's called You Are a Goddess. So I'm definitely speaking to my female audience right now. The book is called You Are a Goddess by Sophie Bashford. And it came up because I have a retreat coming up, a wellness retreat, and it's a women's empowerment wellness retreat that's coming up at the end of April. To the beginning of May. Anybody who's interested, I just launched that. It's just going out. If you want the information on that, reach out to me. And I'm going to do an entire episode just on that retreat alone, because it's absolutely a gorgeous opportunity. It is all about the power of our own deep knowing and our own intuition, especially as women. We're going to ask a lot of powerful questions, and we're going to answer a lot of powerful questions for ourselves and just tap into our own deep knowing. It's going to be a beautiful opportunity, lots of transformational growth and evolvement as a woman and as a female, and diving deep into our own female intuitive, empowering energy. So the book is called You Are a Goddess. It was very fitting. I am loving reading this book right now. It's written by Sophie Bashford, and it's all about tapping into our inner goddess. So I love that for all of us women, and for you men that are listening, it's a really great book to read as well, because it gives so much in-depth perspective of a woman and their inner deep desires as a woman. So I love that for us, especially in the month of love, which is why I'm wearing my beautiful roses and flowers for you guys today. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day and a beautiful rest of your week. And I want you all to know that I love you. And I want you to feel that love by thinking that you love me too. And I hope that's a thought that comes right back. Mwah. Love you guys. Have a beautiful day. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And it's great weather. I know I don't love to talk about the weather, but I'm in Pennsylvania and it's absolutely gorgeous today. So get out there and go enjoy and feel the love of the abundance of the beauty around you. Bye. Thank you for listening to Unpacking Brain Drama podcast. You'll find links for all the things mentioned below in the show notes. And it would be incredibly awesome if you would take a quick moment to leave a review on iTunes or wherever you listen. If you'd like to be considered as a guest on our podcast, be sure to go to www.resultsbydesigncoaching.com for a free 30-minute coaching session. Thanks so much, guys. See you next time.